Hey guys, and welcome back to another Chinaman podcast video. Today we'll be doing our IPL preview. I mean, it feels like yesterday, but yet another season starting tomorrow. We'll be going through our starting 11s for each team and talking generally, and then we'll have our predicted ladder. So this time we'll do something different. We'll start in reverse alphabetical order. So starting off with Sunrisers Hyderabad, I think. So who you guys got opening the batting for them?
I think it's actually an interesting one. You wouldn't think it would be an interesting call, but Hyderabad have 5 or 6 top quality internationals, which it does sort of bring into question, especially considering Saha's form at the end of last season and how well Warner and Siro were combining. Whether or not you'd rather just play Kane Williamson in the middle order and strengthen that and just leave out Bairstow, it would be a big call. But it allows you because you want to play Rash. Warner's got to play as the captain. You probably want maybe Holder and Williamson, you could argue, just to strengthen their very weak middle order. You could actually argue to not put Bairstow in, but I have still got Warner Bairstow opening with Saha at 3.
I've gone a bit different from that. So I've got Bairstow, but I've actually got Williamson opening with Warner because I think Williamson is best in T20s like as early as you can because like
Yeah.
he seems to accelerate later, like he can't get going quickly. And then Manish Pandey stays at 3 for me. I think he does a really good job for them. Yeah, so that's my top 3. I think he's like their best Indian batsman, so I'll have him at number 3.
Yeah, I've got Warner and I've got Bairstow and Williamson in my team as well. So I'm opening with Bairstow, Warner, and Pandey at 3.
Yeah. The only question for me is if they don't put in Holder, who's their finisher? Who's their good
Yeah,
number 6
that's the
batsman?
issue. So the
Yeah.
bulk of the runs has to be scored in the top 4. But
Yeah.
Well, I think that's well, I'll bridge that because so I've got Bairstow at 4 because he bats at number 4 now for England in T20s, and I think he does a good job there. And I think even though it's a different format, but the way he batted in the one day series made me think he has to play. Like he seems to be really good in Indian conditions and just smashing it from ball one. And which does make like 5, 6, 7 has to be Indian players, which is their weakness. And I remember last year I really thought they were like that was so bad for them that I put them in last place. But this time I think it could be a little bit better because just a bit more experience, I'd say. They did add Kedar Jadhav. It's pretty debatable whether that's an actual improvement, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I'm gone 5 and 6. I've gone for Vijay Shankar. I'll keep him there. And Abdul Samad. I actually think Abdul Samad is pretty good. I mean, if you look at his strike rate, I think he can be their finisher guy. And he's still young, and I think he can do that role pretty well.
Yeah, I've gone for Priyam Garg over Abdul Samad, and he's at either 6 or 7 for me, depending on where Holder bats. And then I've got Pandey and Shankar as the 4 and 5. I wouldn't be opposed to Pandey and Saha swapping around as well. But Saha was doing well up the top as well, so you could sort of make the same argument. So no Williamson for me. It's a tough one, but I think Warner Bairstow kind of quality, and Holder just has exactly what they need in this team right now. And also
Fair
another
enough.
bowling option. They don't have that. I mean, you still need to have 5 bowlers, so it makes it really difficult if you don't put in Holder, I think.
so I've gone very left. So I honestly think Kedar Jadhav is going to play. He's going to play. So
Yeah, I
I've
think
gone
he might play. Yeah.
5 and 6.
Sorry, who?
Kedar Jadhav,
And
Shankar, Vijay Shankar.
and then 4 is
So I have Warner, Bairstow, Pandey, Williamson, Shankar, Jadhav in some sort of order. Because I think because I've got the 3 international players in the top 4, I need obviously a variety of bowling options at 5 and 6. So those 2 cover it.
I mean, Shankar does bowl, and also Samad can bowl as well. So
Yep.
I don't think it's that weak.
And I think there's still some questions over Shankar's batting. I don't think he's been in very good form, to be totally honest. And I'd be surprised if Shankar actually started. I've got him starting, but I don't think he will. But I also think, in terms of Ryan's team, I think if Kirajeta plays, he's sort of got to be in the top 4. I don't think you can bet him at 6.
I don't think his
it doesn't
finishing
matter.
skills seem to be very poor last year.
Non-existent.
But
Yeah,
you
so
could
I
argue-
guess like if he plays, and I guess Williamson's not going to play.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
I could say you could argue if the top order does that well, he could maybe have less pressure on him. Because in Chennai there was always pressure on him. But
Yeah.
and never know, different team, his fortunes might change, but he definitely has a lot to prove because like I think he's got a lot of hate recently.
Yeah, I mean, how I think they're gonna line up like Warner, Bairstow, Pandey, and Jadhav at 4, and then Saha and Holder, and one other batsman, maybe Shankar or Garg or someone in the middle order. I
If
think
you
that's
do
what
go for Holder though, surely Muhammad Nabi would be better in Indian conditions.
I thought about Nabi, but I back Holder's batting more than Nabi's, to be honest.
Right.
And I think he's an underrated bowler. I think based on the Big Bash, I thought Holder was more impressive than Nabi, but I do get the change
Nabi
of
was pretty
conditions.
poor in the big match though.
But I haven't rated Nabi much recently, is all I can say. I just don't think he's been quite good enough. But I think when they later on in the season, when the pitches start to deteriorate, they'll certainly consider playing Nabi and Khan.
Yeah, I was just saying to Ryan, I haven't looked a lot at like the grounds that each team's playing because obviously that might have a big say on their teams. But
Yeah.
if they are, they might consider Nabi more.
So Hyderabad are playing at Chennai for the first 5 games, and that's a very spin oriented.
Yeah,
It might well be Nabi then, yeah.
Yeah. But
So,
I think
number
the
7, I assume we've gone similar then. Is it Abhishek Sharma? Or that's who I've got.
well, I've got Holder at 7, sort of, and then Garg or Samad at 6.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've got Smart at 7, so yeah.
Well, because I didn't go, I left out Saha. So I've got Shankar, Samad, Sharma as my 5, 6, 7. And the bowling, I assume we're all with the same 4 pretty good bowlers.
Yeah.
Rashid Khan, Natarajan, Kumar, and Sandeep Sharma.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a very good bowling attack. And
Yep.
even their backups aren't that bad, like Khalil Ahmed and Siddharth Kaul. Like they used to play for India as well. And I think they have everything covered with that bowling attack. And that's why I actually really rate this Sunrisers team, despite that little bit flawed middle order.
Yeah, like they made playoffs last year, and this year they've got Boovy, and nothing else much has changed. And they've got Bairstow. Well, they missed someone for the. They didn't have Bairstow for the whole season last time, I think either. They just should be better.
They dropped Bairstow for Williamson halfway through the season.
I mean, yeah, I put them last season, but then if you actually, they're the only team that has made the playoffs the last 5 years in a row. So like they're actually consistently very good, and like they kind of fly under the radar a bit as well.
They're definitely a better team than last year, for sure. I reckon. That's
They did
like
well last
where all my
time.
predictions have gone off.
Yeah. They also had Mitch Marsh, who got replaced by Jason Roy. Which I think Roy would only play probably if Warner's injured or Williamson's injured. And then they also picked up Mujib as like a backup spinner, which is pretty handy as well for Rashid.
Yeah, Mitch Marsh, like he actually could have been really useful in that team.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. And also it could have been useful for his World Cup prospects as well, because I don't think he's locked that down yet.
Yeah. So where's everyone put Hyderabad?
Third.
I've also gone for 3rd. Yeah.
I've gone for 2nd.
Oh, so we're like all in the mix. Yeah. So
Yeah. I thought you two didn't rate them because, like Ryan, what you said the other day.
Yeah.
I remember I said to you at the start.
Yeah, I know you said that now.
Totally wrong.
I just think because they're top 4 and then the bottom 4, like bowlers, that's just amazing. And like,
in the middle order, they sometimes find a way to make runs. Like they're not terrible.
Plus, they're kind of like Perth in the sense that they can defend 150, like if they have to.
Yep. So next up, Rajasthan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not looking good.
Rajasthan. Yeah.
Funny thing, I actually really thought their team was looking solid, but Jofra Archer not being there is a huge miss for them, I'd say. But who
Yeah.
knows for how long? That's the question though. I think they're kind of similar in that the opening pair could be a lot of options. What do you guys have?
I've actually gone for Butler and Stokes. I think it's tempting to put Stokes in the middle order. I was like it's tempting to opening with Stokes, but I think the other option to open is probably Samson or I guess Jaiswal. I don't think Jaiswal is good enough, and I like Samson at 3, so I've gone Butler, Stokes, Samson top 3. It's a bit like Hyderabad in a way. He's got all the firepower at the beginning, but I still don't mind that.
Yeah, I've gone exactly the same. Like on a good day, those 3 can already get you 200 runs. Like that's not
Yeah.
even understating it. Like, and I think Butler and Stokes, you want them to face the most balls that they can because like how good they are. That's why I think they wasted Butler down the order last year, but I'm pretty sure people have sort of foreshadowed that that's what they'll do. And yeah, means no Jaiswal, but I think that's not much of a loss.
Yeah, I did think about this a lot, but I still think you need stability in the middle. So I've gone with like I would be happy with either Stokes or Butler up top, but I think Butler's the better player up top. So Butler to open with Jaiswal and Samson at 3. But there is definitely, yeah, I just think because of the way they play, like Butler and Stokes, like if they don't, I mean, Butler can kind of claw it back, but if Stokes starts off slow, he never seems to claw it back. So I just think that
Wait, did you say
having him in the
Stokes
middle,
starts
he
off
can
slow?
control the innings.
Wasn't Stokes like 2 off 80 in the Ashes and then teed off?
It's a bit different, really. If I'm going to be totally honest, I think that's hardly
Like he
the
can hit
similar.
sixes though. Like I'm saying, like, but I know what you mean. He does sometimes get into that sluggish like sort of mode and then like stuffs up. Like in the T20 series against India, I think that happened a couple times.
Yeah, well, here's a question. Because I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that if they could play their strongest lineup, it would be Livingston and Butler opening and Stokes at 4. That'd be an amazing top 4. But the question is, can they afford to only have one international bowler, considering how weak their Indian bowlers are?
Yep.
I think they could maybe because that would mean playing Unad Cut, I guess, which is he's one of the most overhyped players. Like
Well, he's going to play regardless. To be
Oh,
honest.
I actually don't have him.
Okay.
And I've heard a little bit about so they've got Tiagi who he's okay. He's still young.
Well,
I've heard about this player called Sakaria. I think he's some left arm fast.
Yep.
well, that's the thing. Have you guys actually included Archer in your team? For
No.
this?
No,
Oh, well then,
He's not going to be there for
he's not going to be for at least
half
4
the
or 5
season. I
games.
think.
Yeah.
wait, who are the other players? Sorry, I've put Archer on my team.
So it's either Andrew Ty or Mustafiza Rahman to replace him.
Yeah. I think it'd be Mustafiz Rahman. I hope it would be
I,
Mustafiz
mean, I
Rahman.
think it'd be Ty actually.
Okay, I'm just gonna assume like
I think
that
Ty
think it'll
kind
be
of redeemed
Archer.
himself.
But like thinking about it now, I'd probably beef up the batting and just leave the bowling because I don't think Ty's like.
You can tell he goes for RCB.
To be fair, like yeah, they could do Unadka and Tiagi, and like that's not even that much worse than Ty.
Yeah,
I mean,
honestly
if we're
think
gonna
they
pick
just
Ty, I'd totally want us to just forget it. Like the bowling, that's a pretty low level. We'll just pick an Indian bowler. Who cares?
So who is your number 4, 5, 6 then? Because
Well, I've gone for Dubé and Parag as the 4 and 5.
Yeah.
With Toesha, I think Toesha's going to be 6 no matter what. And that's the thing. Toesha and Livingston are also bowling options, which is how that could sort of work. And then you drop probably Parag or something.
yeah, I went for an extra batsman. So I got Dubé and Parag Tawadia 1 down from what you said, and I have this young guy, Mahipal Lomraw. I don't know a lot about him. I think he was in like that same
He played last year.
2000, 2001 sort of generation. and that's what Harsha Bogle also put in. So I assume he's a better option than having Jaiswal in the middle order, and I think he bowls a little bit as well. And then I actually don't think Dubé is that bad. Like
No, I don't mind Dubé.
yeah, I think he can be a decent like just hitter from pretty early in his innings. Parag has the talent, but he really underperformed last year.
Yeah. I mean, I think Morris and Gopal are easily good enough to be a 7 and 8, which is why I don't think you need that extra batsman in there. Chris Morris is a pretty good batsman.
That is true. I just didn't know what other bowler to play then.
Yeah.
Right, who do you have?
I've gone with Parag and Dubé. It's 5 and 6 because I've got four is Stokes.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I assume we will have Shreyas Gopal, Chris Morris, the extra international seamer, and I've gone for just one Indian pacer, which was Kartik Tyagi. So Will, do you have two then?
I've got Unadkat and Tyagi, along with Rama, not Thai, and then Morris and Gopal.
Yeah, I'm pretty torn between like Ramon. Seems like he hasn't done anything recently. Like he's been.
Yeah, that's why I think they'd honestly consider having Livingston like playing.
Livingston can bowl. That's the thing.
Yeah, true. Like Livingston, he can bowl off spin and leg spin as well. Basically.
I mean, so you consider the team, it looks a bit better when it's Butler, Livingston, Samson, Stokes as the top four. And then
actually, if you go Livingston in
5.
Because theoretically, like obviously Morris is not going to perform as well as Archer did last year. No one really is going to, but
actually that I highly doubt they actually do.
Like, it's not going to be that much different to last year. Because the attack was so shit versus even with Archer there.
So how about this? Butler, Stokes, Samson, Livingston, Dubé, Parag, Tawatia, Morris, Gopal, Unadkat, Tyagi. Like that's
or you put in the new young guy that they signed for 1.2 crore. I forgot his name. Starts with the C. But he could be that option instead of Rahman. But also I think you got to have Livingston opening Stokes for. I think if you're going to put in Livingston, because that's the whole reason you do it. So
yeah. Wait, is that I forgot his name again? Chikaria or something. Sakaria.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I saw this little clip of Sangakkara talking about him, and he was hyping him up. So then he might be in their plans. Do they have any other international players? Or Jofra Archer,
David Miller.
Yeah. I think he's actually not even good at all. But this South Africa series, he actually had 2 decent innings.
He's not good.
But I
don't like David Miller.
I think he's pretty overrated. Yeah.
So where would we put Rajasthan in the ladder?
But you two go first.
Well, I'd put them at the bottom.
Yes.
I don't think they're the worst team. Because Archer not being there is like.
I mean,
I just don't want to imagine.
They rely so much on their top order, but I think it's still not even like there's still quite a few top orders that are probably better, even though they were like Samson isn't that consistent. Like I'd much prefer like a Sayukimi Yadav at 3 to a Samson or so on. And there's probably 3 or 4 teams that actually still have a better top order than them, despite having a much better middle order. And their bowling is still a very weak point. And also last year it was like only Archer and Tawashi that were really performing. Who knows how Tawashi is going to go this year?
Yeah, exactly.
Like if he starts flopping, then they're running out of match winners from last year.
Also, obviously, Samson is in his first season captaining.
Yeah.
And who knows how that'll go. If it's anything like his batting style, it could be interesting to watch. But he'll still want to probably want to perform well, obviously, because he could still have a shot in the Indian team. I've actually a lot of my predictions are actually more based on like hunches than obviously I've thought about skill sets of each team, but I still have them sneaking in the finals actually. Without Jofra Archer, it looks pretty hard. But I think if he comes back, they could even be title contenders. I think they can just sneak their way past, and I have them in the 4th place. And this is mostly because I have someone else that you guys might have not in there, just based on pure. I don't think they will for some reason. But yeah, so I've got them in 4th place, Rajasthan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to hear why you think they're title contenders last year when they had Archer last year. And the only big change is like Morris for Smith, maybe. Why does that make them title contenders as opposed to being,
Well,
at best mid-table?
I think if they utilize Stokes and Butler better, like the best that they can do, I think is opening. And if they utilize that better, that already makes them twice the players that they were from last year, in theory.
Okay.
And
I certainly hope so.
that middle order, still looks kind of dodgy. They've got Dubé now. I don't know if he's that much of an improvement, but like they're still all like decent batters to number 8, which isn't like that bad really.
Yeah.
And whenever Rajasthan won last year, they won so well. Like you just think that's such a good win. That's such a good performance.
Yep.
But they just didn't win enough. And obviously, we know last year was that close, and that every team was not that far off of having a good season. So I thought, why not have them have a season like that this year? Next is one of the most talked about teams, RCB, Royal Challengers Bangalore. It seems they haven't learnt much, I think, just only going for a star batsman. And they
went for Jemison.
They spent that much money on a test bowler as well. Obviously there's I think Padikar has COVID, but we'll just assume he's
Oh, he's good now. He's in the camp.
Okay, yeah. We'll just assume, and I think Kohli said he was opening, but I don't know. Did you guys still have Kohli opening the batting?
Kohli's opening. He confirmed it.
I mean, he said he was, but would you still have him? Let's say.
Yes.
I mean, yes.
Who else?
I do as well. Yeah. So Kohli and Padikar, I assume.
Yep.
I've actually gone with Mohammad Azharuddin at number 3, just because you have to have that extra guy, and I think you may as well have him at number 3 because I think they believe he's good, and if he's there, he's one of their only keepers, so I'll have him at number 3. And if he can bat like the other Mohammad Azharuddin, it might be good.
Yeah, I've gone for Padikar, Kohli, and then I put Azharuddin at 5, but I think he could sort of be at 4 with Maxwell floating and De Villiers at 3. I think De Villiers should be 3. And I think De Villiers is going to have a good season. De Villiers gets better every year. Like he always just is just amazing. Like you always forget how good he is when he's this old, and he just keeps getting better.
Yeah, he's actually he's a better IPL player than Kohli probably.
Yeah, that's not saying much there. And then Maxwell is 4 and 5, and then Dan Christian. I think Dan Christian is such a good player. He's going to really help this team.
Yeah, one thing I was gonna say, I saw people saying about De Villiers that he's better when he comes in a bit later. Like he is good enough, obviously, to anchor and carry the team. But if he comes in after 10, he can still he can do a better job.
I mean,
Well, that's
how
the
much
thing.
do
We
we
had
trust
problems in the
Azharuddin,
middle.
though?
We had problems in the middle overs, so that bringing in Maxwell was trying to solve that. So if we push AB up and leave Maxwell to take care of the end, then we solve the middle overs problem.
There's
Yeah, in
one more
particular,
player.
playing spin in the middle overs has been the big RCB problem. They just get
It's been
tied
Kohli's
down.
problem mostly.
Yeah, it's mainly Kohli because he just gets singles. That's what he does. Singles and twos.
They also got this guy. One sec, where do you find him?
Oh yeah, my team's
Rajat-
exactly the same as Wells, by the way.
Rajat Patidar or something. Apparently, he might bat. Apparently, he's decent. He's played the warm-up games for them, which would, if he plays, it means De Villiers keeps, what they did last year.
I also had a very left field option when I was doing some research of putting Sundar at 3. And
I saw that.
I saw that.
I
I think he's still more of an
was surprised by
accumulator.
that.
I think he's more of an accumulator than like a all-out big player, big batsman.
It'd be like when Narayan got promoted. It'd be interesting. And maybe you'd have De Villiers keeper if you really didn't want to put in Azharuddin.
Wouldn't be the worst off.
Hmm.
They also brought in Finn Allen, but I don't think there's any way he can be fit into the side.
That's not going to play.
He came in for Philippi. He's been hyped up a lot from whatever the New Zealand League is called. But yeah, had a good debut, I think, against
Super Smash.
Super Smash. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, and I've also reckoned Dan Christian over Daniel Sams, even though I really rate Daniel Sams, and I always don't like Dan Christian. I refuse to bring him in fantasy. But I think he's actually just as good at the death bowling as Sam's, because I think Sam's has been pretty crap at the high level. Like he's been smashed about in internationals and smashed in the IPL. Christian will probably try that, leg bowling at your feet, whatever. And I think he's more solid with the bat, like more consistent. So he's number 6, and then I'll have Sundar at 7.
Sam's could still go in the side if you wanted him to. I could think of one other international bowler that's been getting smashed a lot that doesn't necessarily have to be in this side, despite them paying a record fee on them. Like
Wait, sorry,
Sam,
one
there's no
sec.
reason we think Jemison's going to be better than Sam's, to be honest.
Wait, well, for some reason, guys, it says I only have 10 minutes left on this meeting before I have to pay.
Oh my God.
Nice.
Oh dear.
You want to pause the recording?
Yeah.